Hi there, I'm Gary. I'm an ordinary bloke doing stuff. Welcome to my channel, welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm building another kit. I'm going to be building this, the Curtiss P-40B Warhawk from Airfix in 1/72nd scale. It's a relatively uncomplicated kit, but it produces a really nice result in the end. I'll have a brief look at the history of the aircraft. I'll show you what you get in this small but packed box, and then I'll show you how I make the aircraft. Now, all of these bits come as chapters, so you can hop backwards and forwards as you desire. Okay, so let's get on and make the aeroplane. The Curtiss P-40 single-seat fighter was created by taking a P-36 Hawk and replacing its radial engine with an Allison V12 inline engine. The prototype XP-40 flew in October 1938, although initially there was little performance increase over the P-36. Aerodynamic changes, such as moving the radiator and oil cooler inlets to the nose, gave the required speed boost. Although lacking in performance at high level, at low level and high speeds, the P-40 was highly manoeuvrable. The aircraft gained much attention as the plane flown by the Flying Tigers, or the American volunteer group, flying in Burma under the leadership of Claire Chennault. Here, crews adopted the shark's mouth graphics seen on many P-40s for the rest of the war. Making use of the aircraft's advantages, the Flying Tigers were really successful against Japanese fighters such as the legendary Zero. In 6.5 months, the Flying Tigers destroyed almost 300 enemy aircraft for the loss of just 4 of their own. Because of their rugged nature and tolerance of harsh conditions, the P-40 flew well in tropical climates. They were used as defensive fighters in Hawaii. 8 managed to get airborne during the attack on Pearl Harbor, despite none being at defensive readiness. The P-40 became the dominant type used by the US Army Air Force throughout the Pacific Theatre, notably in Indochina and the Philippines, and was instrumental in achieving air superiority against the Japanese in 1942-43. Many P-40s were supplied to British and Commonwealth Air Forces during the war, where they were known as the Tomahawk and later models the Kitty Hawk. They were supplied crated from the factory. Whilst not that effective in Europe, the P-40 proved itself a rugged and reliable aircraft in the harsh conditions of the North African desert, where it proved to be more than a match for German fighters such as the Bf-109. Later versions, such as the Kitty Hawk II, were supplied with the Packard-built Merlin engine. 13,738 P-40s were manufactured, the third highest number of any US fighter. Today, just under 30 remain airworthy, although more are in restoration. Perhaps the most interesting is the subject of this kit, an aircraft that survived the attack on Pearl Harbor and is the only P-40B flying today. The kit I'm making today is a tooling made in 2011, with decals released in 2020. The kit is rated at skill level 1, so achievable by almost anyone, and it comes with a token for 1 flying hour. You can collect these tokens as a member of the Airfix Club towards a free kit, or you can donate them to Models for Heroes. Details of this excellent charity are in the information box below. What do we get in the box, you ask? Well, first thing to notice is the plastic bag containing the parts. There are 2 sprues of grey plastic that contain most of the parts, plus a small plastic bag with a sprue of transparent plastic for the windshield and canopy and a tiny light cover. Also in the box is the instruction leaflet. As usual, the instructions are pretty clear and well drawn, and they cover 3 pages. Then we have the decal sheet for this aircraft of the 15th Pursuit Group. There are decals for the instrument panels and the propellers, large national markings, and some teeny tiny stencils. Well, that's all very good, so let's see how I put it all together. As usual, I've primed the pieces first, and then I need to clip off this radio mast as it doesn't belong on the P-40B. Inside I've used US interior green, picked out a few bits in black and added a dot or two of red for colour. The two halves of the fuselage can go together already. Set them up to dry with some clamps or bits of tape. By the way, all the paint colours are in the information box below. The pilot seat is painted interior green and placed on the cockpit floor, which is aluminium. Then the joystick can go in as well. Next is the instrument panel, painted black with the decal already applied. And that's the cockpit sorted out. Simple, eh? Next, the cockpit gets attached to the lower wing section. Then the upper two halves of the wings can be added. Now, the gun barrels are moulded into these upper halves, so do be careful not to catch them as you make the kit. While the wings are setting, I can add the upper cowling to the engine compartment. This has the machine guns that mark it as an early version P-40. I can also add the chin air intake. After that, the wings can join the fuselage. It fits okay, but I did find some gaps that I had to fill with white putty. There's this little headrest that goes in the cockpit, painted leather brown. Then I can start putting the glass on. I've masked the canopy with tape as I'm spraying the model, and I attach the glass using Revell Contactor Clear. Under the tail I'm adding the open wheel doors, which mercifully come as a one-piece item. Then I'm going to add the rudder, and I'm ready to start the paint job. Now for the underside I've used USAF medium grey. Then after masking the joins I'm applying 2 coats of USAF olive drab. I'll do the tail paint on the sprue for the moment. When those have dried I'll add the open cooling gills, and I can paint any inside bits visible with interior green. Then onto some decals using my usual collection of decal setting solution, reverse tweezers and a small brush. I use the micro set to wet the model surface, then hold the backing paper with the tweezers and use the brush to nudge the decal. Some of these are a little bit awkward, but we'll get there. Here you can see the teeny tiniest of the stencils. The one on the right says oil. Honestly it does. It's less than 1 millimetre long, so you can take a position on whether or not you place it at all. Next I've put in the exhausts, and these have been painted in burnt iron metallic paint. Next the undercarriage. The legs are painted aluminium and the wheels in the medium grey with the tyres in Tyre Black. Now the wheels and legs have rectangular pegs so they sit with the flat spot correctly angled. Put the wheel on the leg first, then push the opposite wheel cover into place. With all the tail painting and decals done, I can attach the tail planes. These sit level when viewed from behind. Then I can put the tail wheel in, followed by the main undercarriage legs. And these are followed by the undercarriage doors, larger one on the outside and the smaller one on the inside of each leg. After that comes the propeller, which I've pre-painted. This sits on a back plate with a spot of glue, and then the spinner goes on top. While it's drying, I'll add the pitot tube to the wing. I'll give that a spot of paint in a moment. And then finally the assembled propeller can go on the front of the nose. The last bit of all is this tiny lamp cover under the wing. Just push it into place and maybe secure it with a spot of ultra thin glue. A quick last go around touching up the paint job and we're done. I really enjoyed making this little kit. There's not too much to do, reasonably well moulded, it looks great. There's just the fitment of the wings to the fuselage that need a bit of attention. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please do remember to subscribe to my channel, where you'll find more builds and new projects as they're completed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.